Franchise buying group Spar closed with a market cap of close to 20 billion rand on the JSE today. The grocery chain operator supplies goods and services to 859 Spar stores in South Africa. It's experienced strong growth in its Build It stores and Tops liquor outlets. Paul, did you know, another did you know for the day, that it's the #1 liquor brand in South Africa? Tops grew at almost 20% in the past reporting period. That was a full year to the end of September.
I did not know that, not being a big boozer myself, but I understand why that would be the case. I mean, they basically tacked these little mini stores onto all of their stores, and they've got pretty good distribution network because that's the nature of the business, Durban based. So they don't own the physical stores and they don't own always the leases and all that stuff. So it's got a much higher margin, but naturally a much lower turnover. Just to put things in perspective, it's about a 20 billion rand market cap company, as you said there. So that compares it to Shoprite up at 75, and then the likes of, Massmart and Woolworths at the sort of 35 level. I mean, quite an interesting company, very well run, very well regarded, came out of the Tiger Group. Whether or not it succeeds in a big way in this country depends in part on the quality of its franchise holders. And as you know from your own experience of going to Spars, some of them are fabulous and some of them are terrible. So I don't know, for me anyway, it's not...
That quality control aspect is just so hard. So what do you make of their decentralized operating model versus the Shoprite and Pick n Pay, where they're moving towards that centralized operating model and looking to buy franchises and have more corporate-owned stores?
I think back in the day it was great. I mean, I think they've got about 6 distribution centres. They don't have any of the hassles with the sort of in-front stores. They've got a bit of a logistics company going on as well, but they don't have all the problems with the logistics company. So I think historically it has worked very well for them. Now you're seeing them actually moving more towards the corporate already. I mean, they've set up sort of an incubator fund as we went through tough times. They've actually have bought out a couple of their stores now.
So do you think that model is basically changing? If you're watching them closely, they're moving towards a system that is going to be similar to a Pick n Pay Shoprite?
I think it's a long way off, and I think it was mainly the incubator fund that they're using is mainly a function of the global environment, and it's more to support owners. But I think that might take some time. I'm not sure if that's in their actual strategy, but I mean, even now, with the model that they're using now, they're still supplying sort of 75-80% of the goods that you'll find in a Spar anyway. So I don't think it's a bad way to run it, a very different way to run it, but it seems to be working for them.
When we're talking about international help and support, they actually tap into the Spar International Group, which is based in Amsterdam. So that's an interesting point to note. They're tapping into those international systems, best practice systems.
And that brand travels, people know, so they associate it with. So it's one of the strongest retail brands in the world. But at the end of the day, it does come down to the earnings. The Build It division, I think, also deserves a little bit of attention because in much the same way that they did it with the liquor and Tops, they've done the same with Build It. So that's a great category because, if you've got 1 or 2 little Spars in rural areas, that can serve as a very effective base from which to sell basic, bags of cement, bricks, building sand, bags of, paint and all sorts of stuff, basic stuff that actually has quite good margins.
They've been doing well there, 18.2% growth if you want to know the exact figure in the full year to the end of September, and that was one of the reasons we saw growth in earnings. But for those who are bearish on construction and exposure to construction, do you have to start waving any red flags, or not for you given where they're focusing?
No, I'm positive about that because if you look at the cement sales, you can see that something like 50% of cement is sold in bags, and a big portion of that is in the sort of peri-urban and rural areas where literally people are adding to homes. So I think sometimes when we talk about fixed business growth of built environment, we talk too much about the big, mega cap projects and the mega cap construction companies. A lot of the activity, in fact, in the country is down there. Okay,
so we've got Build It, which is doing well, Tops is doing well, and do you think that the decentralized system serves them well? Operating profit has almost pretty much doubled since 2007, but is the hot stock Spar for tonight?
I think it is quite hot, but the one thing that is worrying me a little bit about it, they also are having their liquor licenses, the whole across all retailers are having the liquor licenses reassessed, and I think that is going to hurt SPAR most out of the lot. And I think there are additional risks in the counter. Even though I think overall they have, like you say, been doing very, very well, I'm still going to go with not.
Still a not. Any luck with you, Paul?
Well, it does have a low price to earnings ratio, but that could be just due to timing and the timing of their results releases. So it hasn't quite done as well as some of the others. And I think some people were somewhat disappointed with its results not so long ago. So again, may have some attraction there, but all things considered, I'm also a bit anxious about the levels that it's reached.